Russia, the largest country in the world, covering over 17 million square kilometers, featuring thousands of unique locations from St. Petersburg in the west to Lake Baikal in the east. One place, however, in the depths of Siberia, 9 time zones from Moscow, is so far east it's almost west. A place called the Kamchatka Peninsula. Hundreds of lakes, glaciers, volcanoes and geysers, all crammed into the area of Victoria. It truly is extreme. The Kamchatka Peninsula is located in Russia, Asia, at 56 degrees north, 159 degrees east, and is approximately 270,000 kilometers squared. It is surrounded by the Sea of Okhotsk to the west, the Bering Sea to the east, and the North Pacific Ocean to the southeast. The closest countries to the peninsula include Japan at 1,600 kilometers from Hokkaido and the USA at 2,000 kilometers from mainland Alaska. From Sydney, it is almost 10,000 kilometers away, and the journey getting there is lengthy, having to catch a plane to Singapore, then Incheon, then Vladivostok, and finally landing in Petropavlovsk, a trip taking over 1 day and available all year round. The climate in Kamchatka is severe. The winters are prolonged, freezing, and windy, reaching lows of -41 degrees in extreme cases, whereas the summers are cool and wet, reaching highs of 17 degrees. Rainfall and snowfall is expected all year round, with roughly 1,220 millimeters of rain annually and a 2.5 period of no snowfall. The consequence is a myriad of biomes, from tundra to swamplands. However, the peninsula is more than just a severe climate. It is defined by extreme changes in elevation, reaching heights of 4,570 meters with an average elevation of just 172 meters. The lithosphere of the Kamchatka Peninsula is of particular interest for its formation as it sits on the border of the Ring of Fire, meaning its terrain is ever-changing. About 2.5 million years ago, basaltic flood eruptions formed the Kamchatka Peninsula. Flood basalts are large volcanic events that cover vast stretches of ocean floor with low viscosity lava. In the past 250 million years, there have only been 11 distinct flood basalts, and the peninsula was the creation of one, likely due to its triple plate junction that it sits on today. Basaltic floods are caused by the combination of two events, the first being continental rifting. Rifting starts with mantle convection, a process where thermal expansion of mantle material upon heating causes a reduction in density, thus moving upwards. The difference in temperature as it approaches the Earth's surface causes it to cool, becoming more dense and sinking, continuing the cycle. The boundary of these convection cells is where continental rifting occurs. However, another factor must also be in play. In this case, this is mantle plumes, an upwelling of abnormally hot mantle material that is carried by convection until it melts the base of the lithosphere and turns into magma. The combined force of mantle plumes and continental rifting can result in basaltic flood eruptions. The latitude of the Kamchatka Peninsula is also responsible for its unique formation. At 56 degrees north, solar energy reaches the atmosphere and disperses over a larger area of land due to the Earth's curvature, naturally cooling the surrounding surface. The Siberian high-pressure system, formed through intense cooling of surface layers of the atmosphere, is responsible for further cooling as eastward winds carry the cold air to the peninsula. The Oyashio Sea Current, a chilly ocean current that flows southeast along Kamchatka, cools the air above the surface of the sea and finds its way inward. All of these factors contribute to the peninsula's classification as a subarctic climate. The result of the cold temperatures and ever-changing terrain is a limited yet well-adapted biosphere, seen through the birds who build nests near geysers to keep the egg warm. This extends to the hydrosphere surrounding and flowing through Kamchatka due to the high nutrient water of the Oyashio Current. An example of this is seen in the rivers, which consist of the greatest diversity of salmon species on Earth. The abundance of physical features that define the Kamchatka Peninsula is what earns its classification as an extreme location. The most prominent features found in the landscape are the two volcanic mountain ranges, Shadini and Vostochny. Together, these feature over 300 volcanoes, including 29 that are active. One of these, the stratovolcano Klujevaskaya Sopka, is the highest active volcano in Eurasia at 4,750 meters, and as recently as the 21st of February, erupted for about a month. Time and time again, the destructive power of these volcanoes are demonstrated, such as when Karinsky Lake turned from one of the world's largest freshwater lakes to one of the largest acidic lakes due to toxic gases from a nearby eruption. Hundreds of geysers also litter the landscape, with the Valley of Geysers having the second largest concentration of them in the world. Glaciers are also found in abundance, with 446 of them covering nearly 1,000 square kilometers. These typically sit side by side with volcanoes and geysers, making traversing the landscape very difficult. The peninsula's extremity continues all the way to the coastlines, where swamp systems run along the west and broad gulfs of mountainous steep cliffs shape the east. All these extreme physical features means human features remain limited. The population density is roughly 16 square kilometers per person, with the largest city, Petropavlovsk, consisting of only 180,000 people, which is over half of Kamchatka's population. Outside of this, almost only small struggling settlements can be found, typically on the coast due to the favourable climate and source of food. The Kamchatka Peninsula, despite its extreme nature, is susceptible to many issues that place the human and physical features in a fragile state. Global warming has had the largest impact, and as time goes on, will only worsen. Between 2000 and 2014, an overall glacial area of 183 km² was lost. The excess water can then easily make its way into one of the 140,000 rivers and 100,000 lakes, which could in turn increase the population of salmon, thus increasing the population of Kamchatka brown bears, ultimately leading to a collapse in the ecosystem. This water also places the many Kamchatka settlements in vulnerable situations due to an increase in coastal erosion and elevated storm surges. Warming sea temperatures have also recently killed 95% of marine life on the surrounding seabed around Petropavlovsk. Analysis of satellite data on surface sea temperatures showed deviations of 3 to 6 degrees from what is common, resulting in an anomalous increase in chlorophyll A that led to harmful blooms of red algae, causing mass marine deaths. There is little that the government and people of the Kamchatka Peninsula can do to resolve the many issues of global warming, other than monitoring affected areas, building protective infrastructure, forming organisations that aid recovery ecosystems, and most importantly, urging Russia to take action on an international level. The Kamchatka Peninsula is one of the most extreme locations on Earth. The interconnectedness between volcanic activity and subarctic climate is something so unique that it must be preserved to ensure future generations can appreciate it. The peninsula features a variety of geological landforms, from stratovolcanoes to glaciers, extraordinary concentrations of wildlife, from salmon to seabird colonies, and ongoing geological processes that are rare to find elsewhere. Currently, the peninsula is listed as a World Heritage Site where 27% of the land is protected by UNESCO. However, this does not do the peninsula justice for its incredible display of extreme geography.